大家好，我是 Olive Branchdown. So I know a lot of people are concerned with aging because it actually causes wrinkles in your skin. You might have a lot of gray hairs and skin starts to sag. However, what is even more heinous than just looking unattractive is actually what's happening inside your bones. You may have heard of osteopenia or osteoporosis, which is a condition when your bones get really frail and weak, and they're much more susceptible for fractures, which is like a crack or actually a complete bone break. Look at this graph. It clearly shows that the risk of death from a fall skyrockets after the age of 75. In fact, it's just behind Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, and cancer for death from old age lifestyle. The main reason why death shoots up from a fall is because most people, when they fall, they break their hip, which is where the thigh bone meets their pelvis, and that joint right here, it cracks, it fractures, and then they cause a lot of series of consequences. They get hospitalized for a long periods of time, their muscles shrink even more, their bones get even weaker. However, there are things that you can do now that can prevent the loss of bone mineral density. And I'm going to share these tips with you in this video. Quickly, a bit of physiology for you guys. 99% of all the calcium that's in your body is actually stored in your bones and teeth. Now, your bones themselves are only made up of about 60% calcium, and maybe 20 to 40% that's made of organic matter, and then the rest is made up of water and lipids, fat, which is basically the marrow, the stuff that's inside your bones that makes your white blood cells. So your bones are just like any other organ where it requires a lot of blood vessels that supply it with nutrients. And they do get replaced. So old bone cells get replaced with new bone cells. And for your whole skeleton in your body to be completely replaced, it takes time, about 10 years for it to be completely renewed. Of all the minerals, calcium is the most abundant in your body. And it's so important because it's used in so many different functions, such as normal muscle contraction, your heart beating, lowers blood pressure, and a bunch of enzyme production uses calcium. And so your bones is your biggest reservoir for calcium deposit. And if your body does not have enough calcium in its blood system and bloodstream, it'll actually start pulling calcium away from your bones to feed the rest of your body. And so that makes your bones weaker. And this is why you need to focus on how to retain calcium in the bones while supplying calcium for the rest of your body to use. So you might have also seen that vitamin D3 is always together with a calcium supplement. Why is that? They actually go very well together. And that's because in your thyroid glands, which is right here, they can actually sense the need for calcium. And when it senses it needs more calcium, it actually triggers this hormone that goes into your kidneys to produce vitamin D3, or transforms it into an active state. And that vitamin D3, what it does is it goes to your gut and it starts to absorb more calcium into your bloodstream because it needs it. And then when you have a deficiency in vitamin D3 or calcium, there's this disease called rickets, which actually makes your bones spongy and soft. This is why it's very important to ensure that you have enough calcium and vitamin D3. Another also very important vitamin, but lesser known, is vitamin K. And it also goes very well with calcium and vitamin D3 because it actually helps to direct all that calcium now that you have available into the bones. As I said earlier, calcium is also used in other parts of the body, and one place in specific are your arteries, your blood vessels. And when calcium goes there, it makes them calcified or stiffer. And this is not good for blood pressure or cardiovascular disease. So by having more vitamin K, it helps redirect it back into the bones where you want them. Now, vitamin K also has many different forms. There's vitamin K1, which is made from a lot of green leafy vegetables and is good for blood clotting. But more importantly, what we're talking about is vitamin K2, which also has two forms, MK4 and MK7. Both forms actually are good for your bones because of this protein called osteoclastin, which actually binds the calcium in the bones. Okay, so MK4 is particularly good for bone health. MK7 more so for heart health, okay, because it pulls calcium away from the arterial walls and into the bones. So your recommended daily intake for calcium, I have it listed here below, so for you guys to refer to. Also for vitamin D3, also it's about 25 micrograms per day. And you can also find it in food sources. Lots of food sources have both of these types of vitamins and minerals, and you can actually refer to these graphs here and here as well. So that's it, guys. I hope you found that useful, and as always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.